Let me tell you how it really went down. And let's just say if you ever thought a simple walk through the airport couldn't flip your whole day upside down, you haven't been in Jamal River's Bootsnow. You haven't been black, proud, and in uniform in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong people watching. You know what I mean? I'm not here to give you some tidy speech. This is just how it happened. And I'm still shaking a little just thinking back. It started the second Jamal's boots hit the tile fresh off a flight. Army service uniform pressed crisp as a board, duffel slung over his shoulder. He had that kind of look, chest out, back straight, name above the pocket like he belonged anywhere he wanted, except apparently Atlanta Airport. He was hoping to surprise his mom. Hadn't seen her since he shipped out to God knows where, but the welcome wagon was running late, so he checked his phone, eyes scanning for a message, nothing. Instead, what he got were stares, not the kind that say, "Thank you for your service," but those sideways looks that stick to your skin, the ones that whisper, "Why is he here?" and "Who let him in?" You ever had people move their bags just a little closer when you walk by? Yeah, that. Two TSA guys couldn't take their eyes off him, and a lady over by the coffee shop white-knuckled her purse like he was about to rob her in broad daylight. Jamal felt it building, the kind of tension that makes the air thick, heavy, where every step is a gamble. He was tired, just wanted to see his mother, but there was that old feeling, here we go again. He reached the escalator, figured maybe he could just fade away with the crowd. That's when he heard it. "Hey, you stop right there." Loud, sharp, impossible to ignore. Jamal froze, old instincts kicking in, hands open, every muscle tense. He turned, slow, like any sudden move might get him killed. And there they were. Officer Beckett, big guy, mustache you could lose a caterpillar in, hand already resting on his gun, and Officer Haynes, tall, wiry, eyes cold and blue like winter. Not a greeting, not a smile, just accusation, just suspicion. "Is there a problem, officer?" Jamal kept his voice calm, steady, even though his heart was pounding out his chest. Beckett barked back, "Yeah, we got a report about a stolen military uniform. And look at you, strutting around like you own the place." The crowd was forming, now people watching, phones already out, ready to turn someone else's worst day into their afternoon entertainment. Jamal knew the script, he'd lived it before, but that didn't make it any easier. "Excuse me," he asked, trying not to sound angry, but Haynes was already moving in. "Where'd you get that uniform?" "I earned it," Jamal shot back, proud but measured. But Beckett just snorted. "You expect us to believe that?" He nodded at Jamal's duffel. "Open it." Jamal shook his head. "You don't have probable cause. There's no reason to search my property." But Haynes stepped in close, voice low. "Listen here, boy, you'll do what we say." And there it was, boy. Jamal bit his tongue so hard it hurt. Forced the words out. "I'm not a boy. I'm a staff sergeant in the United States Army." "You have no right," but Beckett cut him off. Funny, because the description we got was a black male impersonating military personnel. And you look just like him. People talk about blood boiling. I swear you could feel it radiating off Jamal. "You think I stole my own uniform?" he asked, voice trembling, not with fear, but with anger, with years of being second-guessed. Haynes didn't care. He grabbed Jamal's arm. "I don't think I know. Hands behind your back." A gasp rippled through the crowd. A little black boy watched, eyes huge, clutching his mother's hand like he'd never let go. Jamal didn't resist and comply either. "I will not be treated like a criminal," he said, clear as day. "I fought for this country. I deserve respect." Beckett just yanked his duffel off his shoulder, dumped it out for everyone to see, dress blues, ID, paperwork, everything right there on the floor. "See," Beckett announced, loud for the audience. "Fake." Haynes chimed in. "Looks like we got a liar." Jamal just clenched his jaw. "Call my commanding officer," he said. "He'll clear this up." Beckett pushed him against the wall, harder than he needed to. Haynes clicked his radio. "We got a situation at Gate 4, suspect resisting arrest," but then out of nowhere a voice cut through, sharp as a knife. "Lies." Everyone turned. An older black man, Vietnam vet's cap on his head, stepped forward, voice loud enough to stop the show. "I've been watching this whole thing. This man ain't resisting nothing." Murmurs broke out. More phones came up. A woman yelled, "That's racial profiling." But Beckett just pulled out his cuffs. Haynes twisted Jamal's arm behind his back, not caring who saw. Jamal snapped. Do you have any idea who I am? Beckett rolled his eyes. Yeah, you're a fraud. And then like a scene from a movie, a booming voice echoed. Unhand that soldier. Silence dropped. A tall black man in a captain's uniform strode up, badge gleaming, eyes like steel. His nameplate read, Captain Andre Maxwell. Beckett and Haynes froze. Captain, Beckett stammered. Maxwell's voice was cold, fire under ice. I said unhand that soldier. Now. They hesitated, then let go. Jamal straightened, arms aching, heart pounding. Maxwell turned to him. You all right, Sergeant? Jamal nodded, but you could see the pain in his eyes. I'm fine, sir. But these men assaulted me, falsely accused me, disrespected my service. Maxwell's jaw worked like he was chewing glass. You to my office. Now, they tried to protest, but he wasn't having it. The crowd started clapping cheers. Whistles, phones pointed like weapons. Jamal breathed, maybe for the first time all day. Now, if you thought that was the end, buckle up. In the security office, Beckett and Haynes sat stiff as corpses, sweat shining on their foreheads. Captain Maxwell stood over them, arms folded, barely contained fury in every line of his body. Jamal leaned against the wall, not as a victim, but as a man who'd had enough. The door opened, and in walked Chief Walter Granger, a short, solid man in a Navy suit, face hard as stone. Tell me what happened, he said, voice like gravel. Beckett tried to speak, but Maxwell cut in. These officers falsely accused a soldier, assaulted him, arrested him without evidence. Granger's eyes narrowed. Is that true? Beckett tried to lie, but Granger was already ahead of him. Because I watched the airport footage. The only thing this soldier's guilty of is walking through the airport while black. The room went cold. Granger laid it out. You humiliated a decorated soldier. You lied on your report. You called him resistant when he never was. That's falsifying an official statement. Haynes started to protest, but Granger snapped, sit down. Maxwell didn't bother to hide his disgust. You didn't even check his ID. You assumed he was a fraud just because he's a black man in uniform. Granger turned to Jamal. Sergeant Rivers, I apologize on behalf of this department. You were wronged, and it will not go unpunished. Jamal met his gaze, steady, not letting him off the hook. Apologies don't fix this. These men need real consequences. Granger nodded. Oh, they will. Effective immediately, both of you are suspended, without pay, pending investigation. If you're found guilty, you'll be fired and stripped of your badges. Beckett lost it. You can't be serious. Granger slammed a file on the desk. Multiple complaints, racial profiling, excessive force, misconduct. And now you harass an American hero? Your lucky charges aren't being pressed. Haynes clenched his fists, shaking with rage. Maxwell stepped up. You think unfair is being accused of stealing your own uniform? You think unfair is being shoved against a wall in front of a crowd? He glared. You're about to learn what unfair really feels like. Silence. Beckett's head dropped, Haynes trembling, defeated. Granger nodded. Get out of my sight. They left, sullen, beaten, not heroes, not protectors, just two men finally forced to face themselves. And right before they stepped out, Jamal spoke, calm but burning. Next time you see a black man in uniform, show some damn respect. We fight for this country too. The door shut. Maxwell exhaled. Granger massaged his temples. Rivers, if you ever need anything, Jamal shook his head. What I need is for this to stop happening to people who look like me. Maxwell squeezed his shoulder. We've got a long way to go, but today, we took a step. Jamal grabbed his duffel, the weight just a bit lighter. He knew this wasn't the end, not by a long shot. Racism, injustice, ignorance, they weren't going anywhere overnight. But for once, the crowd had stood with him, not against him. For once, the system had taken his side, at least for today. Karma came right on time. So now I ask you, would you have done if you'd been there? Was justice really served? Or was this just one battle in a war that never ends? Drop your thoughts below. Let's hear where you stand, because stories like this deserve more than silence. They deserve your voice.